If you know anything about me, you'll know that I love to make different builds in Minecraft Dungeons. Take for example this Arctic Fox armor. It's a reckless build, has death barter, chilling, cooldown, pretty standard stuff, but it's quite fun to use, and looks pretty sweet too. However, I also have the attention span of a squirrel, and while I like to use this armor, sometimes I want to do something new. But I don't have enough enchantment points for that, and I don't want to salvage this. This is one of my favorite armors. So instead, I end up making so many trips to the blacksmith. As you can see, I did this earlier with a bee build. But in order to get my enchantment points back, you can go to the blacksmith, and when you upgrade your item, your enchantment points will come back. And it'll also be higher power level. Not for me though, these are already max. You'll notice though that costs a lot of emeralds. But you'll also notice that that's not really an issue for me. How do I have so many emeralds? Well, I have an AFK farm that I'm going to show you today. What you're going to need is an armor with thorns and final shout. You can have an extra thorns for more damage. I have beast boss on this built in. That's not necessary at all, and honestly not that helpful. I just think it's funny. Speaking of beast boss, we have 2 pets. Get a wolf, get a llama. And lastly, you'll want a totem of regeneration. You might start picking up what I'm putting down, but I'll show you when we actually get to our spot. Let me get some speedrun gear on. And let's go into pumpkin pastures. Now you want to play on a difficulty that at the very least is 0 times your difficulty, because the best way to mess up a farm is to die. We're actually going to go a bit lower. It does not change your emerald drop rate. All it does is make the XP lower, makes the mobs do less damage. More importantly, less enchanted mobs spawn, because you'll see in a second. Alright, in pumpkin pastures, you'll just run through the level normally, and eventually you'll get to this area, where you lower the drawbridge after fighting a little horde of mobs. This is where we're going to be setting up the farm. Not right here though, just beyond here, so let me beat these guys up real quick. Alright, so the gate's open now, and time to get our gear on. So, we'll start with our armor, now let's get our artifacts on, and now, our melee and ranged. They actually don't matter what they are, all they have to have is Prospector. And Prospector 1 works fine. Having Prospector 3 on both is fantastic. I accidentally salvaged both my melee and bow because they were common, and I was doing a clean out, and I was only saving the uniques. But I have these Fighter's Bindings, and I have this Love Spell bow. And this will I'll just show that you don't really need super duper high level Prospector stuff. And yeah, the damage actually does not matter. All you have to do is make sure you don't have an Anima Conduit bow or melee, because that will mess up the build. So the way this works is you'll walk up and just kind of stand like right in this area. I'm going to put my controller down, and as you can see, the pets are killing most things, and I don't think anything's attacking me. If something were to attack me, they'd die from the thorns. So I'm pretty good. If I were to drop low on health, I would drop the Totem of Regeneration down, which can heal way faster than they can deal damage. I'll go back to full health. Final Shout can activate. You've already had some emeralds drop, but this is going to be a short video. I'm just going to mute my mic, let this run for like 30 minutes or something, and then we'll see how much this does. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I took like hour 15 minutes. It's longer than I said at the beginning, but I ended up doing a workout, so apologize if I sound winded. But yeah, you can see there's a lot of emerald. Of just the ones that I collected, I think I started at 87,000. Now I'm close to 91,000. So that's 4,000 emeralds right there. But we haven't even collected like all the rest of the stuff. So let's get it quick. So let's see how much that would be. That's... We're closing in on 1,000. And that also, I just like to say, it's so satisfying. Like, where else can you see that? I'm also going to pick up all the gear and I'm going to salvage that. Unless it so happens to be like Prospector 3, in which case I'll save it and use it. But I think that's all the gear that dropped. Not a whole lot. I wasn't actually gone that long. Let's see. Well, my game is very laggy though. If you thought my frame rate was bad before, it's terrible now. Sword, armor. Yeah, not too much stuff, but let's see what that rolls out to. Almost 192,000. That's a pretty significant boost for just over an hour of not playing the game. And I gained a level. I think I was, right? I was 311 when I started. So I definitely gained a level. And that's a hefty amount of emeralds. And like I was able to completely go do something else. I did a full workout and then some other work too. Not that much work, but just a little. Some other quick notes is I've tried to leave this on overnight, but I was doing it at higher levels because I usually need the levels more than emeralds, so I risk it on higher levels. The reason I don't recommend higher levels, or at least you can leave it overnight, but the reason high levels are bad, it's because more enchanted mobs will spawn, and enchanted mobs can have gravity pulse, and that pulls you off of this spot. So if I get pulled over here, my pets can't reach the upper limits of where they can spawn. Same if I get pulled over here. Also, if you somehow die, and when you're at high levels, like some armored vindicator is going to spawn with like some absurd enchantment if you just leave it on for so long, that's going to break your farm. And quite frankly, that's kind of stressful. So just keep it easy difficulty. Like that was only an hour and I gained a level. So I really should just be, if I want to leave it on overnight, number one, my computer will hate me because it'll, hold on, let me check. Yeah, it's warm right now. Be careful. Turn your graphical settings down before you set up the farm. But yeah, I think this is pretty good. I like this strategy because it means that you don't have to grind for emeralds or levels while you're actually playing. You can focus on actually experiencing the fun that Minecraft Dungeons has. I love the way the llama runs, especially when it gets confused. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm quite tired. I'm going to cut this video here. Thank you for watching. If you have any more questions about this emerald farm / XP farm. Oh, I never said it, did I? Yeah, this is the only area I could find, because this is the only area where mobs continuously spawn, and that also drop, like, XP. Like, they'll spawn until you flick the levers, so do not flick the levers. Anyways, I love this farm. Try it out. Remember, very simple. All you need is thorns, final shout, and then prospector. And you can double the emeralds I got, because I have 3 prospectors here. If you get if you could get a perfect melee and bow, you double my prospector. And actually you could get even more if instead of having, like, you could get a really good guild. And then tasty bone, wonderful wheat, totem of regeneration allows you to have this great farm. So thank you, and I'll see you next time.